Hey everybody, welcome to the Speaking of Schmoedown special. I am Jay Wade. Joining me from Schmoes of the North, Daniel. How you doing, bud?
Not bad, not bad. Really excited to be on this show. I honestly should have missed it because this is usually when I'm asleep, but I happen to have a few days off here.
Yeah, Tuesday is my day off of the week, so that's awesome for
Hmm?
me. Christian is not here with us just yet. Hopefully he will be here shortly. If for some reason he is not, then I sincerely apologize, and we will reschedule with him. If you know who Christian is, you know he is a very, very busy man. But until then, we're just going to talk a little bit of Schmoedown stuff because there's a lot of stuff going on. No spoilers here, like the Patreon match dropped, or the match dropped early for Patreon. So feel rest assured, no spoilers for anything that isn't out yet. I don't know, man. Let's talk about the free agency that's coming up
Mm.
because it's coming up soon, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk to Christian about, just to get the clarification from the horse's mouth. The free agency is before the tournament, so how, if at all, would that affect the players who are locked into the tournament? Say Swag wants to trade Ace, which it's highly doubtful, but say he wants to trade Ace, but he's locked in for him in the tournament. How, if at all, would that affect them? I don't know. Do you know the answer to this one? Perhaps. How many free agencies sessions are there this season?
I
Two,
believe I
right?
believe that there was announced 4 free agency
Really?
signings. Yeah,
Okay. So
where
the things I
it's
want to get more detail on.
yeah, it's definitely a little confusing, but I I understand it a little bit thanks to like running the fantasy league that I have, where um, it will work like a waiver, um, and the lowest faction team will get to pick first of their choice of the available free agents, and so any person in the FCL is available to them. And if they sign that person, basically everything will be tallied up kind of ahead of time. And then someone from the MTS approaches the free agents and says, like, take it or leave it. You are picked by, let's say, the Den. And if you take it, you are now on the Den and in the Schmoedown. If you do not take it, you are pushed out of the free agency eligibility until the next one, which is why I understand the purpose of having more than just one or two, so that you can have some sort of agency in what faction you end up on. It will always be the lowest ranked one that made a pledge for you, but you could decline that offer and hope somebody else is at the bottom of the standings next go around.
All right. All right. See, and this is something I'm learning more about all the time. I say it all the time. I'm more of a traditional sports fan, and on top of that, I'm more just a fan of competition itself. Like I love baseball, and I have a favorite baseball team, but as long as it's a good game, I'm not all that depressed if my team loses, unless it's the playoffs and the World Series or something.
Mm.
So I just like good competition. So there's a lot of these things growing up that, even though I watched football as a kid, even though I watched baseball as a kid, I never paid attention to, nor did I care. And now I don't understand drafts, free agency stuff. I just don't. That's like foreign. That's like doctor talk to me. I just don't get it, dude. It's like speak English, doc. But I'm starting to get it a lot more. And I don't know, the free agency thing. I've been wondering. Now, the players who come up in the free agency from the FCL, are they? I don't know how to word this. Now I'm stuck. Take it, Dan. Let me think about how to word what I'm trying to say, because
Yeah,
I have it in my head.
as far as I've gathered from what I've heard, anyone in the FCL is an eligible free agent. I'm not even sure if you can pick up a person in free agency that is not in the FCL, or at least not on paper signed to the FCL. Like, I don't think Clark Wolf could come back to play unless her name went down on paper in the FCL.
Oh,
Another curious thing is some players will have negotiating rights. Anybody who has played, I think it was 3 seasons was announced, will get to negotiate their faction during free agency, like we saw in season 7's free agency, where Ben Bateman screwed everybody over and like was clearly making deals with every manager and then signed with Kaiser, right? And so I think that's kind of a thing that can happen with some of the older players, but like that would work for Clark Wolf. It would work for Vanessa Griffin of Late to the Party. Who it wouldn't work for is Kevin Smets. Kevin Smets has only played 2 years in the Schmoedown and was only signed in the Schmoedown for 2 years. So he does not have the seniority to negotiate the faction that he would go to. So Kevin,
he still has to play one more season to make that 3 years, because it's 3 years of eligible play, correct?
Yeah, which would then, I guess that makes you a senior, and that will give you your negotiating power. It could be subject to change in future seasons as well. We don't specifically know. But I like the idea of 3, because like there are some people who have played 2 seasons, but I would argue shouldn't have seniority because they only played 1 or 2 matches, maybe entered the free-for-all. So I understand the need to make a milestone that people haven't reached yet is kind of a good reasoning for that. And if you're sitting around 3 years in the FCL, if you joined this year, I think that should give you some negotiating rights as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll take a couple things from the one thing here, Ryan Christensen. I think it's too early to pick up someone from the FCL, as there's only been a few matches and a lot of players have not been seen yet. I can definitely agree with that. However, the exception I can think of is like the dossier that FinSoc Exchange put together. You know, if you've got something like that, and you know, maybe you've discovered more, or maybe you've done more research, or you've just had a little bit longer to think about it, you could have valid information as far as past stats like FinSoc Exchange has on players. Now you just don't have their experience in the FCL yet. One more here, and before we do this, I will say right now, I just heard back from Christian. He apologized. He had a family issue come up, which is perfectly fine, and he will reschedule with us. So sincerely sorry about that. Hope all is well to you, Christian, and we will sit down and do this. And I like the questions that we had lined up for today for him, so we're definitely going to run through those. But we'll talk some Schmoedown here for a little bit longer for you guys and for ourselves, because I love doing it. Does Kaiser drop Jericho and Roxy picks him up, or does Kaiser trade him? Now, I'm going to stick with my original. I've been saying from the very beginning, guys, I think Kaiser is going to win him over, and I do think Jericho will play for the dungeon this season. I've been crazy, or I've been called crazy every time I've said that, but I don't know, man. I think I understand where Jericho is coming from, but I think if he and Kaiser could sit down and have an actual sincere conversation, I think Kaiser could win him over. But my prediction is he will be playing for the dungeon this season. Hell, even make a storyline out of it, because then Roxy feels betrayed, and then she wants to get revenge on Jericho.
And the best thing he could do is kind of weasel a match that Jericho shouldn't be playing against a rock star, or against a star, I should say. And so you use Jericho to beat Roxy's players, and that would just like make an even grander story, and kind of that betrayal could happen. But I think basically Kaiser doesn't really have to do anything with Jericho until he decides it's worth it. He's got such a like hard-hitting squad that aren't like losing their matches yet. So why drop him at all? Just keep him there
Yeah.
until the right trade offer comes in, or until you convince him to play for you. Sit him on the bench. Dan Murrell can play a couple more matches. And it's kind of going back to what he mentioned earlier about it being a bit early to drop people. I would like, it's a bit early to pick people up, but I could see where you might want to make a couple of drops and switches on your roster if you found you're in an unfavorable inner geekdom situation, or you realize one of your big singles people is going to have a scheduling conflict, and so you need that like fourth person to sign up for the tournament. Like, there are a number of reasons to do it because you want to get that person before any other manager clues into your strategy too.
Yeah. And oh shit. It just went, you could see it go right in and right out my head. Here, ASG. Should Dan start playing IG while defending the belt? Sure, why not? I don't see any issue with it. I think it could be fun. And it could maybe even help. Like, I mean, look at it like added training, perhaps. Certainly on the job experience, and whatnot. Yeah. What do you think?
I honestly think it's the right time to do it. And even more so if Danger Zone doesn't make it out of this mini teams tournament. I think if you're spreading Dan across all three divisions, that might be just too many hours of study, and you're going to be pulling yourself in way too many directions, because you study very specific categories moving into matches, and like you really amp pressure in specific places. But those could be very, very different if you're talking across three divisions. Like, let's say Ben wants to put a specific slice up on the wheel, and so Dan's got to study that, but he's also got to study Terminator, and he's got to study for a singles championship defense. That's a lot to ask of a person. But I think he's 0-0 in Inner Geekdom. I don't think he gets like the lowest ranked rookie, obviously, but he should get a rookie in his first match. Like, at most, he should be playing like 1-0 Amaru Moses, who has the fanfare that Dan would have behind him, but does also have a victory in the division over Dan. Like, that's another thing we need to look at it. Like, he's not going to be playing Mike, Mara, Chance, Chandru. He's not even going to play Hannah or
playing one of them. But I mean, I don't know if it should be a rookie. I mean, aren't you kind of? Isn't that kind of a slight toward Dan? Like, yes, you're new to this division, or is that how it would? Is that how it should work? You're new to this division. You're going to start at the bottom and work your way up to the. Okay, I just talked like
yeah. And
sometimes all I got to do is just talk, and I realize it myself. So yeah.
Actually, last year is a great example of it. Alex Damon did not play a rookie, but Emily Rose Jacobson had a losing record when she played Alex. And Alex's first match was it was a person who was established in Inner Geekdom, but nobody who had done particularly well. And then his next match was against like Brandon Hanna, and then like in the tournament. And so like he did immediately step up. There's a large gap from the like rookies in IG, and I'll say rookies and just like unseasoned people, and then like the high tier of your Kalinowskis and anyone from Hannah's level upwards is, in my opinion, just like a different class from the IG regular. And especially from what we've seen prior to season 6, I'll say. Around the time when Mike and Rachel were just killing everyone in that division and Smets was sneaking on up. That was the rise of the IG that really makes it a new division going forward.
Yeah. Hey, do you happen to have the team tournament brackets handy?
I might.
Because I want to make a prediction here. I'm just not sure what round it would be in. But my prediction is that what is it? What are they again? Merle and something about Top Gun. What is their name again?
It's Danger Zone.
Danger Zone. See something about Top Gun. Danger Zone. Okay, so I predict that Danger Zone will lose. I'm not sure which round yet, but they will lose a match. And Bateman is obviously going to blow it, but he's going to blame it on Merle. I just think that's going to happen. I'm not really a big fan of having like two all-star names like that on a team together. To me, it just it seems like it seems more like fan service than complementing each other is how I view teams. You know, you want to take someone who's strong in these areas and then has a decent middle ground, and then take someone else who is decent or who is good in the offsetting areas as the other person with also a decent middle ground, so that you can cover the entire spectrum. Now, I will say JTE and Roka team together, I do not understand that at all. I hope I'm wrong, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I just don't think they complement each other. When to me, that is definitely a novelty team in my mind. As far as, you know, you've got these two greats. JT is coming back. Yes, it makes for a really compelling storyline, but I'm not sure that it's anything more than that, and I'm not sure that it'll pan out for them. I would give much more. What is the word I'm looking for? They're more likely Danger Zone to go further in the tournament than Rushmore, I think. And that's not a knock against Roka or JTE, but I just don't think they complement each other. And then as far as Merle and Bateman, maybe they don't complement each other as well as they could, but they both do have an extreme wealth of knowledge, and that can't be denied. And they're both cool as cucumbers under pressure.
In some ways, I do want to reserve my judgment for Rushmore until we've got a match coming up. Ben Goddard versus JTE. This match sounds so fun. Like, this is, if you think about like the meta aspects of this match, Ben Goddard could parallel to the new JTE. Like, he kind of was around the schmoes. He did like
jumped into Frenchie's corner, dude. Oh my god! This is not where I want to go today. No, I'm not.
I'm saying it parallels the story a little bit, where he knew Christian and he ended up on the inside of this community, and like Josh the intern and Ben Goddard being shit on SEN Live is kind of a parallel. Like, and I really want to see like the old school versus the new school matchup that is happening here, of like JTE was from the knowledge game and Ben Goddard is from the study game, and
right
they don't have much overlap in the two, whereas like Dan and Bibiani, Dan is more of a studier, Bibiani's more of a knowledge guy, but they've both played in both eras. This is going to be such a weird, interesting setup for a match, and I want to see how JTE has like stocked himself up for the new Schmoedown.
Yeah, very true. And I'll make a point. Remind me if I forget. I want to say something about JTE studying. But I want to see JTE making a bunch of jokes, picking on Goddard about him being a young kid and all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. I think that would be funny. I don't know. Ben Goddard. I don't know. Nothing personal, man. It's just there's something there that I just like picking on the guy. What can I say? But JTE, and not just with JTE, but all the competitors, with it being drafts and stuff, you're never guaranteed that you're going to be going to the same team year after year after year, and most of the players won't be. So, like when you've got JT going now to Finstock Exchange, where we've got Roca, who obviously is very helpful in training and knowledge and all that. But then where JT came from with Roxy, undoubtedly he knows at least some of her secrets and her style. So these players, they really benefit because they get, for example, JT, they're under Roxy's leadership for a year, and she's a great manager. And by all accounts, she's a great trainer. So he gets that knowledge. Now this year he's soaking it up from Roca. Now what if next year he's drafted by Sam Levine and he soaks up? These players, man, they're the ones that really, really benefit in this draft situation. I love it so much.
Yeah, that reminds me of in the NHL one year, there was a general manager who was fired right before the draft, like a couple of weeks. And then he was immediately hired by a new team, and he just brought most of the scouting from the old team because he had all the reports that all of his scouts had been giving him. And he was saying, going into the draft, I had 2 separate full plans, 2 full scouting teams. We were able to look at completely different guys on the new team because I already had the information on the first few. And yeah, it's just such a thing that you can use to your advantage, which is why you saw a lot of tension in the Finstock Exchange last year of all of those like high caliber players where none of them wanted to share their secrets with each other because to share a secret is to give an edge to an opponent.
Well, yeah, that's another thing that makes it difficult because who is your teammate this year, and your shared knowledge could help them, therefore the faction and yourself next year could be your enemy and could use your knowledge you gave them against you. It is a tricky situation. I do believe I am a team player. I shouldn't say obviously because no one who's listening or watching has ever seen me play anything in a team capacity. But I am a team player. However, you also do have to look at this as an individualism type of an aspect too, because and I've said this before too, being a traditional sports fan, I'm big on Hall of Fame and stats, career stats and stuff. So, to give the edge to anyone else at all, or to even let them come anywhere close to your level, that's dangerous, man. It's dangerous for you personally in your career stats. It's dangerous because Babe Ruth isn't going to show his competitors how he's hitting home runs. A pitcher isn't going to show a rival pitcher how he's throwing his kick-ass sinker. Maybe he'll hold that close and won't even show his teammates how he does that because, like we're just saying, that cat could be pitching for a different team next year. He just gave away his secret. Very, very interesting things that I realize more and more about this situation or the scenario with the drafts and all of that stuff, man, that I had never considered before it happened. When he announced he was doing it, it just sounded really cool. And for me, it was more like I'm excited for draft night. And then beyond that, just whatever. But no, it's opened this game up in so many new ways.
Yeah, when I first heard that there was going to be a draft, I was a little a little worried about it in a way because I wasn't sure how storyline it was going to be. Like, I didn't know if we were getting the Anarchy tournament or if we were getting what we did eventually get, which was the true expansion into sports and teams and teammates. And that's actually an interesting thing, is that the entire mentality of how you went into this has changed so drastically. Because you used to have competitors studying together, and you would study with anyone, because they are all friends.
Yeah.
And then it moves into, like, you started to get some factions and some rivalries, and you started hiding your, like, strategies from people. That's where you get, like, Ben Bateman's and Mike Kalinowski's come out, and then we move into, now it's a team format. Now you're supposed to share your secrets, but not with everyone, just with this very small group of people, so that we can all use them to win.
Right, right.
It's so different from what it was just a few years ago. I think it will take some time for the concrete to set and everything, but we definitely are building some solid foundations here.
Yeah. Oh, I completely agree. When they can get back to live studio matches and stuff like that, and they can utilize that a lot more, I would love to see oh my gosh, dude, see, this happens to me, man. It always happens in the afternoon. Like everything comes in and it goes right out my other ear, dude. Yeah, anyway. I know it's terrible radio, dude. That's terrible radio.
Yeah.
This is live. There's nothing I can do about it. I forgot what the hell I was saying. I'm old. What can I say? Old man Wade in the house. I don't know. So much setup, dude. Here we go. Here's an old man rant for you. I give so much setup for the point I want to make. I forget the fucking point that I'm trying to make. That's my.
Man. I thought it was the chat was giving you shit, and so I popped over to it, and I just saw this just outrageous comment of JTE can finally say he's on Rushmore. His ASG 10 minutes ago. JTE can finally say he's on Rushmore. JTE.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
JTE is honestly one of the reasons the Schmoedown is so great. Like,
maybe so. I don't think that would make him Rushmore material.
Well, I would put him in the Rushmore the same way I do Roka. And like I would put the Patriots in. I usually use one spot for just the Patriots in general, because it was the team that was synonymous with
their presidents on Rushmore. There is no president and vice president combination up there, dude. There are four dudes.
I know, but the Patriots are an amalgamation. And it's because it wasn't quite just Jeff Snyder on his own or just JTE on his own, but the combination of their two personalities was synonymous with hatred. Like, that song still makes me angry when it comes on the radio. And I like the Dropkick Murphys. I used to enjoy that song, and they ruined it for me in the best way possible.
Speaking of Mount Rushmore of Schmoedown, Frenchie and I have gotten into this before, and I just want to ask, as far as criteria for what qualifies one for Mount Rushmore of Schmoedown, I am under the belief that that no matter how good the character work is, that someone should not be put on simply because their character work outweighs someone else's competitive work. Like, obviously, yes, you want people who can do both well, but like, we're not putting someone like we're not putting someone above Smets or something just because their character work was better, but their competitive record wasn't. You know what I mean? Because yes, it does consist of the character work and the competitiveness. But if we're talking about, to me, the Rushmore would be like the Hall of Fame type of a thing of Schmoedown. And if that's what we're talking about, then we're looking at it from a sports angle. That is a sports angle type thing. Therefore, you're focusing more on the competitive aspect of players than we are their character work and entertainment work. You have any thoughts on that?
I do like disagree to an extent. I think if you're going with the classic Rushmore of 4, I think you can put one spot for character, but the other 3 should be reserved for. And I'm not saying character without like anything to put behind it. Like I use that spot for John Roca because he is one of the greatest characters. He has driven the game since the beginning. He's won. He's been like hated and loved. And like I think his gameplay does back up just as much as his character does. But I do think John Roca makes it because of his character over some of the other people in that field, which like I don't have Sam Levine on my Rushmore. I usually just use one spot as the Patriots. And if you were wondering, the other 2 are Rachel Cushing and Dan Murrell. And just, I mean, you can't argue that most of those people are wrong in any aspects. And so I think if you're looking at that spot of Roca, Kalinowski, Sam Levine, they all have very good play. And I think John just makes it a step further because if we're talking about founding fathers, we are talking about charisma. If we're talking about presidents and Rushmore, like charisma and character should play a small percentage in it because it's what makes you a star.
I can give you that. But I mean, there are some people who I cannot remember who it was that Frenchie was saying, was trying to say that he would put in just based on character work. But it was one of those where it's like, you know, you're skipping. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that, Daniel. Because you're skipping over people who have better competitive records. And that's what doesn't sit with me. Now, if
which is why
Roca who has both, that's fine. But if you want to try to put someone in there who like did better character work than Roca, but didn't have nearly the career of gameplay that Roca had, that's where I'm kind of like, yo, what are we doing here, guys? What is this for?
Mm-hmm. And I think basically the best way is to explain what you're looking at when you're talking about, because everyone has a slightly different format for Rushmore. Some people like to pick all 4 divisions and just pick their favorite in each of the 4. And so you pick your favorite team, your favorite singles, your favorite IG, and your favorite Star Wars. And those are your 4. And then some people have like Christian Harloff up there, who very truly deserves to be up there for creating the whole game and making it what it is and leading it. But I could not put Christian up there for accolades because there are way too many people with more of them. Like in the actual sport itself.
Yeah. And also, if you put Christian up there, then you have to put Ellis up there or else you're a flat out hypocrite.
Yeah.
You know, because they started it together. I mean, Christian is the face of it. But I mean, I would always argue that without Ellis being a part of it, it wouldn't be where it is today or what it is. So, you know, if you're going to put
my question, Jay, I'm gonna entrap you here. Are you saying that Mark Ellis's character work puts him to the equal playing field of Christian's singles title win?
No. Put Christian or Ellis on Mount Rushmore of Schmoedown.
I know. I was just, in a world where you're putting Christian.
No, just like I said, if you put one up there, you have to put them both up there. And I don't think either should be up there, but if you're going to put one up there, you have to put both up there. And that's nothing against Christian, but like I said, I mean, the guy who what is his damn name? Abner, whatever, the fucker who created baseball. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching for the moms. The dude who created baseball. I mean, we're not going to put him on the Mount Rushmore of baseballs because he created it. I mean, because it's for the competitors of the sport who would be up there. That's how I look at it. And when you're looking at the competitive side, yeah, they started it and they were good in their day. Yes, they were good in their day, but you know, double day. Yes, thank you very much, ASG. I don't know. That would be my argument for that. But like I said, if you're going to put one up there, it's like for me, it's like texting and driving. Gets on my nerves, dude. Either everything should be illegal while you're driving or nothing should. Meaning it's illegal to turn on my radio and push the buttons looking for a new channel. It's illegal to take a drink. Anything that is distracting should be illegal. All of it or none of it at all. That's just how I feel about it, man. But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, man. This has been a good time. Sorry again for everyone who tuned in. Christian had a family thing come up, and we will reschedule with him for sure. We've got a good, solid lineup of stuff to talk to him about, and things we talked about here are some of those things. But Daniel, why don't you tell folks real quick where they can find you at? I know y'all got a lot of stuff going on over at Schmoes of the North.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not gonna plug it all. I'm just gonna say, like, we have a bunch of different review things, from comic books to TV shows to movies, and just also our 2 Schmoedown shows, Northern Consultations, interview show with a Schmoedown personality, but more on the personal side of things. We ask about the ring and everything, but we kind of like to get to know the person a bit too, and just shoot the shit and have fun. And then Schmoedown Night in Canada, it comes every week on Fridays for live events, and Sundays if there is no live event, or if there is, we cover the week's matches on Sundays and the live event directly after. And you can catch that all at Schmoes of the North on YouTube. You can also join us over on Facebook, where we have a pretty lively community there as well.
Yep, and thank you for being here with me today. Like I said, we will reschedule Christian again, and definitely let you guys know when that happens. Until then, do a Saturday show, speaking of Schmoedown, every Saturday live at 2:30 p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. We not only stream it here on the
I mean, I actually agree with Saul, but I didn't want to get into it on air. I used to have a friend who used to text on his scooter, so I do understand that texting is more distracting than drinking. But you do have a point about, like, if you were adjusting your radio, or if you had a satellite radio, or if you're typing into a GPS, which is also illegal, at least where I am, you cannot use your GPS system in your car while you're driving. You need to pull over and type in the address.
Yeah, Saul. I was closing out. I was making my plugs. I was running through it. I had 9 viewers. I was just about to tell them to subscribe to this channel. Now I got 5. Please subscribe.
Saul. I think Saul was those 4 viewers.
Maybe so. Damn it, Saul. Love you anyway, asshole. But no, Saturdays, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Speaking of Schmoedown, this week we got Thomas Harper on the show. Going to be a good time, and we also do the show simultaneously on the stereo. So follow me, Jay Wade, down here in the bottom corner thing where my thing is, and also at the JCast Network on the stereo and the Twitter. Thank y'all very much. And like I said, we will reschedule, and we will let y'all know when it goes down. Everybody, have a great week, and we'll see you Saturday. Well, I will at least. I don't, Daniel, he, whatever. You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.